There's 7 dimensions of wealth that you need to master if you want to be an embodiment of success. Now, unfortunately, most people only focus on number one, and that is financial wealth. So we're talking about the ability to accumulate enough money, assets, investments that can not only last during your lifetime, but you can also transfer to future generations. Now, that's phenomenal. However, if all you're leaving behind for your children, your grandchildren, in the form of generational wealth is money, then you are actually setting them up for failure. Because there's more to wealth than just money that you must first understand and then teach it to your children and future generations. All right. So that's the first one. The second dimension of wealth is what we call time wealth, the freedom to control how you spend your time. We see, unfortunately, most people do not have the liberty to determine or decide how they're going to choose their how they're going to use their time. The reason is because an average person spends their time working for other people. They work 9 to 5. Your boss dictate when you come to work. They dictate when you go on break. They dictate when you go on vacation. So because you don't have that liberty, unfortunately, you don't control your time. Now, that's one aspect of it. On the other aspect, you can be a business owner. You can be, an investor. It doesn't really matter what it is that you spend so much time chasing money to become financially wealthy that you don't even have the time to enjoy the money. That is why you must understand the importance of balancing all the dimensions. Because if you accumulate enough wealth, but you don't have time to enjoy the money, then what is the essence? You don't have time to spend with your family that you're working so hard for, then what is the essence? So you must understand that time is a valuable commodity. That once it's gone, you can't get it back. See, money can go. You can always find a way to get the money back, but time, once it's gone, can never be recouped. So you must figure out a way to accumulate wealth to be able to buy your time. That's why people who have money, their goal is to actually buy time if they understand the importance of time wealth. All right. Now that brings us to the third dimension, which is the physical wealth. So we've talked about financial wealth, we've talked about time wealth, now we're talking about physical wealth, which basically emphasizes your physical well-being, mental and emotional well-being. So in other words, if you're going to be an embodiment of wealth, you have to take care of this. Here's the reality. If you are not healthy, there is no way you can have the energy, you can have the mental, emotional IQ or financial IQ to actually build financial wealth. If you're not physically wealthy, you can have all the money in the world, but you can't enjoy it because of your physical health. So you must understand that one of the things that you must take care of is your body. You only get one of them. All right. You only live once. You're not coming back again. So if you don't take care of your body in the form of working out, in the form of eating the right food, the right diet, unfortunately, you will spend your time wealth in a place where you don't want to because you're not in a physical good condition. Unfortunately, if you don't have physical wealth, you will spend most of your financial wealth trying to get right with your body. So you must understand that if you don't have money right now, if you don't have time, you can at least take care of your body because the more healthier you are, the better you can think, the better you can reason, the more you can make better informed decisions. Okay? I'm sure you've seen people who have all the money in the world and they will do anything to be able to buy their health. Unfortunately, they can't because there's certain instances where your money can't just do you any good. All right. So you must take care of your body. Very important. The fourth aspect of wealth is what we call social wealth, strong, supportive relationships with family, friends, and community. What does that imply? It simply implies that if you're going to be an embodiment of wealth, you need strong relationships, not just with outsiders, but also your family members, your children, your spouse, your relatives, your parents. Okay, we all know wealthy people who are financially wealthy, but from a social wealth standpoint, they have poor relationships. All right. If you look at the top billionaire list and even a lot of millionaires, you realize that at the expense of accumulating financial wealth, they neglect their social wealth and they end up in divorce. They end up having bad relationship with their family, their kids, because they gave up social wealth for financial wealth. So you can't really say they're wealthy just because they have money, but they don't have relationship with the people that should care about them the most, the people that should love them the most, which is unfortunate. So you should never, at the expense of anything, give up your social relationship. because this right here is wealth in itself. And I'll never forget what one of my mentors said when I was 19 years old. He said, Depot, there are two things that would determine your success in life. Number one, the people that you meet, social wealth, and the books that you read. So if you want to build wealth, you got to understand that the right support system can change your life. You got to understand that it only takes one person, not a whole lot, not two, not three, not 50 people. It only takes one right connection, one right relationship to change the trajectory of your life forever. So don't joke with building, social wealth, social capital. All right. It's very, very crucial. And then we go to point number six, which is what we call spiritual wealth, a sense of purpose, inner peace, and connection with the creator. Now, why is this important? It is important because there are people who have financial wealth, they have time wealth, they have social wealth, they have physical wealth, but deep inside, something is still missing. They have all the fames in the world, or fame in the world. They have the right connections. They have everything that you and I will probably dream about. But when they go home at night, there's still a void missing that money cannot buy, fame cannot buy. The only thing that can fill that void is a sense of purpose, inner peace given by the creator. Meaning, the only way that a created being or something that is created can know why it was created is to have a relationship with the creator. Unfortunately, there are people who are wealthy, they have everything, but they lack this right here. And that is why you will often hear people say, hey, this millionaire, this billionaire committed suicide because there was something inside that money couldn't fit. All right. So if you are on this trajectory, you have everything, but you are lacking this, you strongly want to do whatever it takes to have that deep connection with the creator to make sure that you're living a truly successful life. You cannot underestimate this right here. Number six is knowledge and intellectual wealth, continuous education and learning. Remember, I said my mentor said two things: the people that you meet, and ladies and gentlemen, the books that you read. Knowledge. Knowledge changes your life. Somebody once said that the more you learn, the more you earn. And the opposite is also true. The less you learn, the less you earn. See, we now live in the information age, meaning that the person who has the right information at the right time and takes the right action will create a lot of wealth. Why? The reason why most people are struggling financially, struggling in life, is because there is something that they do not know. They're not growing. All right. They're still relying on antiquated information, information that was given to them or they acquired when they were still in college. The world is changing on a consistent, continuous basis. So you must be learning every single day to become a better version of you. All right. So never neglect or never underestimate the power of knowledge and intellectual wealth because it opens doors for you. All right. It opens doors, it creates opportunities for you because you're keeping up with what's going on in the world. And finally, the last one is legacy wealth, your contribution to the world. Here's the final analysis. See, it doesn't matter how much money you have. When you're gone, people will not talk about, all the money you have in a bank account. They will not remember that you are the wealthiest person in the whole world. They may remember, but they'll so forget it. They will not talk about all the houses that you built. They will not talk about all the fancy exotic cars that you have. They will not talk about any material things that pertains to you as an individual. The only thing that they will remember is what did you leave behind? In other words, did you leave your mark in this world? Did you leave this world a better place than you found it? And if that's not the case, then you want to strongly consider thinking about what difference can you make in your environment? What difference can you make in your society, in your nation, from a global standpoint? All right. That is why it's important. Like I said before, that the most important thing you got to understand, when we talk about wealth, is that there are dimensions of wealth. Don't just focus on money. This is only a piece of the pie. You must be an embodiment in all of them. And what really, brings everything home is this piece right here, legacy. There are people who've been dead for 50 years, 100 years, 150 years. But if you mention their name, you can know exactly what difference they make in their lifetime and how they're still making a difference in today's world, even though they've been long dead and gone. 20 years from now, 50 years from now, what will people say about you? Will you be remembered? See, the more you think about that, the more you start to hone in on what contributions do you want to make to leave a legacy. So I hope this makes sense when we talk about building wealth. It's not just about money, but it's about understanding the seven dimensions of building wealth.